Hello. This is crazy music for this. Hello? This is crazy music.
Hi.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Hi.
This is perfect music.
Hi.
Are you sure? Guys, I'm not done with my French fries. No! No! Totes, sure? Are you... yeah? Kirby? I mean, I guess he does suck. Literally.
Hi.
Okay. Why won't you finish your food first? I was thinking we could do some yapping before we jump into this thing. I'm not stalling. I'm not stalling. I'm not stalling. I'm not stalling. How are you guys? Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. And looked at it in Blender. Really? I had to do some crazy work. Some crazy no clipping work. Hello, everybody. Hello, happy Tuesday. We have to wait a little bit before we start the book report because my Adderall has just been taken, and I'm gonna be for real. We don't want to do this without my Adderall. Nutting is apparently good for you? Yes, it is.
Hi.
It's good for you. Hello, everybody. Hi, 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 hi. Hi.
Location confirmed.
Sending supplies. I got my doggy style. I thought it was appropriate.
Hi.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I ended up doing some no clippy work to look at the statue myself. If you guys aren't sure what we're talking about, I released a video today. It is 7 weird and obscure Star Fox Adventures facts. Appropriate, because that's from Star Fox Adventures. And I had a really good time making this video. It's the first one where I hired an editor. We got like a custom thumbnail for it and everything. My wallet cries, but I'm really proud of this product. I think it's a really good video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It is very much, if you like me hyperfixating super hard, and you want that in your pocket for 22 minutes, that's the video. That's the video for you. But yeah, welcome in everybody. If it's your first stream, you have picked a stream to tune in on. Because today...
Meow.
No! Today, we are going to be doing a book report. And we're going to be doing a book report on a particularly popular / famous book called Morning Glory Milking Farm. I've prepared a PowerPoint of 11 slides. 11 slides for this presentation. I hope you guys... Wait, this music kind of loud. There we go. There we go. Angel, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the leaflets. Let's go through our good mornings before we proceed to yapping for a bit. Then we'll probably segue into this lovely book report. This is Kerbo music. It's Quiet Forest from Crystal Shards. Great game. Let's go through our good mornings. Happy Tuesday. Today will be a shorter stream for real this time.
Hi.
For real this time, because today...
A test of your reflexes.
is Cap's birthday. Cap being my trusty vassal and butler who assists me at the manor and also assists me for guarding the enchanted forest of Avalon. Ooh, I didn't know that. Yeah, if Cap, I'm sure he'll swing by at some point. Tell him happy birthday. He has selected his birthday dinner. He told me he wants hibachi, so I'll be taking him to hibachi. Yeah, I'll be taking him to hibachi. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I've had a hibachi in my life. It's maybe been 5 years. So, yeah, we're gonna go get some hibachi. And I got him some birthday gifts that I hope he's excited for. Yeah, yummers. Yeah, I also have to put myself together. I literally am wearing pajamas still. You know, gotta do that after stream. So we're gonna cap this at, pun only semi-intended. We're gonna cap this at about 5.5 to 6 hours today. And if we have extra time, my thought is I'll probably put it to a vote, and it will either be Tears of the Kingdom or Majora's Mask, or if I just feel really compelled to play one or the other, we'll just pick that. It'll be a Zelda of some sort. So, I picked today kind of on accident. I was gonna give myself an extra day. I was gonna give myself an extra day. That was kind of my thought process because I wanted to do it on Monday, but I was like, no, I think I need an extra day. And good thing I did that because I ended up wah-wah-wahing with a friend until 1 a.m. about we were talking about just a variety of like gaming stuff and YouTube stuff. We were just talking shop a little bit and just kind of vibing, just kind of chilling. Just kind of talking about stuff. We looked at as we were talking, because we're both Donkey Kong fans, really big Donkey Kong fans, the Chunky and Lanky statues got leaked. So we were like nerding out over that, and it was just a chill time. We both needed it, I think. We were just wah-wah-wahing about all sorts of stuff, just vibing. Is Smite broken? It might still be on cooldown. Yeah. Let's go through our good mornings before I forget. Congrats to Null on first.
Did somebody say Minotaur Smut?
Yes.
Amalia's War Cheer 100.
Yes. We will be
Hi.
doing a book report today. I've prepared a book report. It's 11
Hi.
slides. 11. Hi Hakuma. No, thank you for the 220 Swimstweak. Thank you so much. Thank you. The reason I have bags under my eyes is because I was up until like 3 a.m. last night. I was fueled by the power of Jolly Rangers and Crusaderade. Haley, thank you for the 20 stream streak. Hi, Justick. Darkrai, thank you for the Prime for 4 months. I'm terrified but intrigued, as you should be. You should be. Hi, Mittens. Hi, Vlad. Hi, Purple. Hi, Null. Hi, Darkrai. Hi, Phoenix. Hi, Poi Poi. Hi, Haley. Hi, Sylvain. Hi, Takeshi. Hi, Steampunk. Hello, hello. Sylvain, thank you for the 85 stream streak. I feel like we just celebrated 50. What happened? There was like a whole month that happened. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hi, Slime. Hi, Slime. Hi, Pizza. Thank you for the care package. Hi, Myrmidon. Hello. Hi, Spano. Thank you for the biddies, New Fang. Hi, Mittens. Hi, Kawari. Wait, Nako. Nako? Did I see Nako? Hi, Nako. Milking what? We're going to do book report. I'm not sure why I'm doing this to myself, but hi, Amalia. How bad was the smut? We're going to go over it in an 11 slide PowerPoint. My friend needs to know if her new situation has a girlfriend or not. Am I her situation? Wait, am I in a situationship? Is that me? I don't have a girlfriend. I do have 2 partners, business. It's me now. Oh my gosh, thank you for the tip to Cap for his birthday. Holy moly. I will be sure to send that his way. Holy moly. Holy moly, thank you so much. Yeah, it's Cap's birthday. As I said, Cap is he's my butler. Technically, he's a vassal, but we call him butler because it's funnier. Hi, Buddy Badger. Why did the hi not go off? That's weird. Mix it up, bot going through it. But yes, he is our goofy goober Cap. He's the one who shoots me with the Nerf gun every time there's a level 5 hype train. Whoa. Hi, Charisma. And
Hi.
yeah, hello. And yeah, it's his birthday today, so that's why stream will be a little bit shorter. I gotta take him to his hibachi. What kind of butler is he with his birthday now? He'll complain that he is elderly. The super Nerf gun, I would die. I would actually die. I would actually perish. That Gatling gun, I think I would just, yeah. Neko, thank you for the 30 stream streak. Why is most of the redeems unavailable? Huh? I might have. I did plan to turn off the sound ones during the book report, just because it might get a little bit crazy if we have them on. Yeah, Cap has one of the Nerf guns that fires the little balls. As he said, what did he said something yesterday about his balls.
Ouchie meouchie. I went splurty wordy all
Splurty
over the
wordy.
place.
Hi, Milkers. Nut. I feel like the nut one would get used a lot. Huh? Sylvain, thank you for the $20. Oh my goodness. Holy. Thank you so much. I assume is that for the birthday boy? I can deliver that to the birthday boy. Where is he? I wonder where he scurried off to. Hi, Guppy. He's gonna get second. There. No, I already have to cook tomorrow. Happy time zone. Yeah, I'll be sure to send that to him. Yeah. He def whines a lot. Oh my god. Actually, that reminds me. I guess I do have some wine in the pantry. Oh, I have to pick up his birthday cake. He wouldn't let me bake him a cake. Isn't that fucked up? He said I was not allowed to. Who's gonna get milk? I think we're all getting milked. So I ended up I ordered him a ice cream cake from a Cold Stone Creamery. I think he was worried that I was too overwhelmed with stuff this week. So he ended up being like, you can just order me a cake. So I ordered him a Cold Stone Creamery cake. So it's a tall, what is the cake name? It's like Tall, Dark, and Handsome or something. I was like, this is the name of all time. However, it's like cookie and like chocolate and stuff. So I was like, this is like, he would like that. I would like that, you know? So I was like, okay. Are you gonna sit on it? You sit on a cake one time, and nobody ever lets you live it down. Put so much salt on a chicken breast, I got a hard layer of salt, pole cookies, Solaris, bake him a cake? No way. Hey, I got chicken to do it again, but better. The cake, yeah, dude, the cake wants to Riz Cap up. It's crazy. Cake sitter. Okay, so I sat on a cake and I dipped my hair in dog water twice, like within the span of like 2 weeks. So what? So what? Oh no, are we about to get coconut mold? If I had a nickel, no! Hi, Eagle. Listen, the subathon was a wild time.
Hi.
I'll let him hold the cake. Maybe that'll save the cake from my butt. Hi, Katono. Another perfect song for the report today, truly. Truly. This is supposed to be what, Mario music to cure your depression? Oh.
Lizard.
There is something I have to say. I don't believe I'm actually allowed to read any excerpts of the book to you guys because of copyright. I could actually get bonked if I do that. So I will not be reading anything from the book today. I'm very sorry, but you do have to get permissions to read stuff on stream because the stream is monetized. I'm sorry in advance. Yeah, I'm sorry in advance. If it was public domain, yeah, you could. I mean, I could get away with it, but it's kind of like, it's dicey. So I'm going to paraphrase stuff. I'm gonna paraphrase stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Probably for the, I don't know what they're gonna, I don't really know, like, smut, like, would I even be allowed to read smut on stream? I don't even know if I will be, Especially if you attribute it. I might be able to quote it, but I don't know if I would be able to read large passages of it. Like, it would have to be like a quote here and there. I don't think I could sit down and like read it though properly. Yeah. Cause like I know Shadow does reading streams and she has to like make sure she has perms. There's a limit. I see. I will keep it brief if I read any of it. I do have it right here. I was referencing it because it's been a minute since I read it.
Sorry, Amalia. The Pokemon Company has copyrighted paraphrasing alongside their Making Animals Fight copyright Cheer 100.
Hey, they lost. They lost that patent. They did. Like last week. They lost. It didn't hold up. Yeah. They struck it down. I'm like, I love how my mentality needs to be, my mentality for this is basically like, I don't want Pocket Pair to win. I just need Pokemon Company to lose. I mean, technically it was Nintendo and Pokemon. Well, because Pokemon Company is owned by 3 different entities. It's comprised of 3 different entities. It's comprised of, at least ownership wise, Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures Incorporated. So it's like, yes, it's like Nintendo, but it's also Game Freak, but it's also Creatures Incorporated. Mainly, but we're not ignoring the other two because people tend to forget that it's not just Nintendo. That is why I am specifying. I don't know. Like, from everything I've seen with Pocket Pair, they can technically legally do what they're doing. I don't approve of it, but they can technically do it. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think there's, like, yeah, there's obvious, like, you know, design, but slightly, you know, with a mustache slapped on, you know, Pokemon design, but it's like a little bit different. But I think technically it is within their legal right to do it. You know? Yeah. They're definite. That's what I think, Cavris. I think it's rage bait. I think they're rage baiting pretty heavily. And I think that's part of what they banked on for marketing was rage bait. And I mean, it worked, you know? Their designs do feel too similar to me. Morally, I do not want to support them because I feel like they are breaking the spirit of the rule, even if they're not actually breaking the rule. And those are two different things. Even if even if they can't get sued, I think that they still did a bad on their part, but also Nintendo needs to not be like doing these mechanic patents. I don't want either company to win, but I really don't want Nintendo to win. So it's like, yeah, I want Nintendo to lose this specifically because of the precedent it sets. But I don't like Pocket Pair. I think there is a spirit to things. I think there is. Yeah. It's wanting the greater evil to lose. Yep. I want the greater evil to lose. I think Pocket Pair, like, they really just like rage baited people into buying their game, kind of sort of deal. And the reason I say that is like, I posed this question most of a year ago. I asked people, I said, tell me something you like, or tell me why you like Pal World without dissing Pokemon. And I got maybe one person to do it. Everyone else could not do it. And I'm like, okay, if people just like your game because they dislike another game, that's kind of shit. I'm going to be kind of for real. Like, I feel like you should, if you're going to like a game, you should like it for the game, not because you don't like another game. That is my spicy take. Oh, I don't think the game looks fun at all. I think it looks like dog water. Like, the designs were cool. The ones that were actually innovative. Oh yeah, people don't think for themselves. They just... A YouTuber told me this. A YouTuber said, like, that this is how they felt, so that's how I felt. Yeah. Survival slop. That's a good way to put it. I don't even like when people say something is slop generally, but I do think in very particular like situations, I think slop is like the perfect word for it. I take them from Dragon VTubers, who also happen to be YouTubers technically, but you know. What did I miss? Oh, we're talking about Pal World. I'd rather hear slop being used than mid being used wrong. Fair. Fair. If Green Sun Dragon tells me Star Fox Adventures is peak, it's probably peak. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like when people say mid because they usually use it in a derogatory sense, but mid is it's like it's supposed to be like middle. This music is wild. What is happening? Wario's gold mine is crazy. Yeah, it's supposed to be middle. Slop kind of bothers me because people just started using that on everything they didn't like. Hi, pizza. Dude, I'm so over all the like same aesthetic anime games coming out. I'm so tired. Like, I know some people have been playing Blue Protocol, and I'm like, dude, I cannot be less interested in that game. I'm gonna be so real. It looks like every other goddamn anime game that's come out aesthetically. I know it's like an MMO, it's like different or whatever, but God, I'm just like, that's frustrating. It's just dumb, and I don't know. I'm tired of it. Code Vein is not the same. Code Vein is not the same. Code Vein does not have the same aesthetic. Code Vein has a, I would say, far different aesthetic than like Blue Protocol or Honkai or Genshin or, you know, all of those games. I mean, yeah, I instantly be like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna play this because it's like, it's got that aesthetic. But yeah, there's like 2 billion of them now, and they're all so similar, and I just cannot be bothered. I cannot be bothered with them. I tried Honkai for like a day, Honkai Star Rail, and I was like, this is just kind of boring. Yeah, Wuwa, that's another one. Yeah. Yeah, the new one, I think it's like an MMO or something, but I'm like, man, I'm just tired of it, man. Like, it's all so samey, and I can't be bothered with it. I can't tell them apart either. Yeah, I thought Genshin's controls were annoying. I thought they were. I thought the controls were just awful. Like, I don't know. And then like, I really didn't like that they were so, like, they were legally within their right to do this. I didn't like that they borrowed so heavily from Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, it's so funny because it's all Todd Howard's fault, right? Skyrim comes out and Breath of the Wild's like, yeah, dude, let's do that. Yeah. That's what they did. They saw Skyrim be open world and be so successful, and then they made Zelda like that. Because, oh yeah, ZZZ, see, there's so many that are just so similar and so, like, bruh. Like, shit is wild. It's crazy how they make the same game over and over again, and then they make billions of money. Like, what the fuck? Insane. Oh yeah, I want a traditional Zelda. Ananta, that's the one that's like GTA-ish. They only borrowed climbing and no. Nuh-uh. No. No. Have you ever seen the enemy camps in Genshin? They are almost like the whole aesthetic, the whole like how everything is set up is exactly like Breath of the Wild. Like, it's exactly like Breath of the Wild. The enemy camps, the glider, it's like, it's all so similar. And it's like not even close. 3 examples? Yeah, but like Genshin has been accused of taking some stuff. I think they even got accused of taking some stuff from 14 as well with some of the boss fights. Some of the animations are very similar. I forget, I don't know like Genshin lore, but I've seen some comparisons and it's like, oh, this is literally Shiva. Like, this is like, you know, like and it's not mechanic. It's like the whole presentation. It's like the animation, the mechanics with the animations. It's just so one-to-one without it being a legal problem. And to me, that's just so dumb. Be original. Yeah. I think the color palette is also kind of similar, and that doesn't do it any favors. I try not to consider color palette that much. Yes, Genshin also straight up ripped Melodia's waterfall dance move. Yeah, I remember that too. They ripped some Elden Ring stuff and some Final Fantasy stuff. There was another one that they ripped. Yeah. The general art style, the like cell shadedness, I think doesn't lend it any favors. But I try not to consider that too much because like sometimes people, especially in the VTubing world, they'll be like, this design looks like that design, but then it's like you change one color and I don't think anyone would say that. Yeah. Breath of the Wild was kind of empty. I don't think I would agree with that. I think it felt as open as it needed to be. And I would say Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are the more cluttered open world games that feel like there's a lot of stuff to do without making the entire world feel like it's just busy work and without making the entire world feel like it's just like there's so much going on that it's like too like overwhelming. I would say it does a really good job. Like I've played some other open world games and I usually drop them because it legitimately is too empty, or like I don't know. It's like they just put little things everywhere, like a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. And it was like so much just little busy work. Yes. Skyrim also gets benefit of the doubt because Skyrim came out in 2011, and even though Oblivion exists, I feel like Skyrim is really the game that kind of like kickstarted the open world stuff. And I wouldn't say that it feels empty. It does feel copy-paste after a while. It does. And after you see the sights of Skyrim, the first 1 or 2 times, it kind of feels like the game loses a lot of value and like going around exploring stuff because you already know so much about what's about to happen. I feel like GTA, maybe the PS2 one, kickstarted some of it, but the scale of Skyrim is way bigger obviously, because like GTA on the PS2. I also just feel like GTA feels like a different kind of open world than Skyrim. When people, in my experience, when I've looked at interviews and stuff, when people talk about open world games that influence their open world games, they usually cite Skyrim. They usually do, not GTA 5. But I think GTA 5 was probably one that kind of came along a couple years later and really like showed what good quality like open world looked like, as opposed to Ass Creed, which just puts little shit icons on your map. It's like, go here, go there, you know. I agree, Donut. I agree. I actually think Skyrim is pretty well paced. I actually do think Skyrim is a really good game. I think a lot of people dunk on Skyrim because they played so much Skyrim that they've kind of like forgotten the like wonder and magic of when they first played the game. I think they've just gotten so used to Skyrim that the spark of it being like new has been lost. Red Dead 2. When did Red Dead 2 come out? Red Dead 2 was quite a bit after Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim is also quite a bit older. Yeah, Red Dead 2 is a good game, but I think it's one of those that took cues from like other open world games. It took the formula and it was like, yeah, this is a good formula. Let's like perfect it. Same with Breath of the Wild, but they did it in two different ways, I would say. Two really good ways. I think San Andreas definitely impacted it. I don't feel like I remember from what I've seen of that game it being as big as some of the other games that came out a little bit later. Like, obviously, because it's a PS2 game, but like, I think maybe it was like a progenitor, but it was like, I don't know. To me, it didn't feel as big as like a true open world game, but maybe I'm crazy. It was huge for the time, yeah. Truly nothing between minor points of interest, true. They couldn't play any other game. That's crazy. It exploded with GTA 3 and then boom. See, the one I hear about the most, okay, I do hear about San Andreas, but I feel like the one I hear about the most is GTA 3. And like instead of 2 or Vice City. Sea of Thieves would enter in which category? Games that are probably good but make Amalia Solaris sad. That category. I am very happy for the people who love Sea of Thieves. However, they killed so many good IPs for it that I fucking hate Sea of Thieves. Like, Banjo, kind of dead. Conquer, kind of dead. I won't even say Conquer's a good IP, though. You know, there's so much shit. What was it for? Oh, also I have Thalassophobia. Hi, Pierre. Hope you're doing good today. Yeah, I hear about GTA 3 a lot. Haunted Mansion? Does that have spoders in it? I know the ride for Haunted Mansion has spoders in it. I am EP for obvious reasons. Oopsies. Did I do that? I might have wah-wah-wah'd Pierre's ear off last night about Donkey Kong. And one of the Kremlins having a very snatched waist. Yeah. Maybe it's because I watch a lot of Annie Austin videos. I feel like he talks about GTA 3 a lot. But I guess they're like open world in the sense, I don't know. I would consider, I don't feel like we had really open world games until the PS3 era. Maybe, I don't know. It's like they were progenitors for sure. Phasmophobia Devour, huh? Oh, like, ooh, DKC2. DKC2 is a great game. And 3. And 1. Sandbox. We did call them Sandbox. Ooh. I've only ever played Rayman 1. Let me look. Oh no, you're good. Honestly, I guess Arena existed. That was open world-ish. But it was like limited open world. You really just kind of went to the cities and that's it. Yeah. Because we played Arena not too long ago. We played part of it. It was crazy that Mariah Carey was in that game. Wait, it cause what? Oh, the sex game mini game. I feel like I remember that coming out and people caused a whole stink about it. Yeah, it's like just cities and dungeons. It's like, I would say it's kind of progenitor-y for open world games. I do like Metroidvanias, but I know which Metroidvania I'm playing next. Smile. I do not like this stream title. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Is it Silk Song? No. No. Not Silk Song. I what? Just crushed my finger in a door? Ow. Ow. I know what Metroidvania I'm playing next. We haven't played a 2D of this series since I gave myself nerve damage 2 summers ago. Nine Souls? I don't think I'm ever going to play Nine Souls. That game looks way too hard. Super Metroid, yes. We're going to play Super Metroid next. I almost put Super Metroid on the schedule instead of Paper Mario. But I decided that I felt like playing Paper Mario. I wanted some whimsy. You mentioned nerve damage. Yeah, so for those who were not here, when I played Metroid Zero Mission, I gave myself nerve damage playing it, and I lost feeling in my left hand, my left palm, and my ring and pinky finger for 2 weeks. Yep. Yep. How? Oh, okay. I literally just told Pierre this story last night. So, okay. If you lean on your elbow for a long period of time, you're actually you're effing up something with one of your nerves. I think it's like cutting off, and I don't know if it's like cutting off circulation or something, but it's called your ulnar nerve. It connects from your elbow all the way up into your hand. And if you lean against it for a long amount of time, you can actually lose feeling in your hand. And I was playing on my Switch. I was playing Zero Mission. And I was locked the fuck in for the ending. And I was like, oh my God, I am so excited to play. You know, I was like locked in. We're doing like the escape sequence and stuff like that for Zero Mission. And I was locked in for like an hour. An hour, like several hours, really. I think that was like a 6 or 7 hour stream. And that was back when I don't think I wah-wah-wah'd for an hour. So I was gaming for a while. Night Angel, thank you for the follow. And I remember, I think I even said this during the stream. I said at the end, chat, that was really fun. That was really cool. Oh my God, that was so intense. I can't feel my hand. And I thought it was going to go away. But even an hour after stream, I couldn't feel half of my hand. Yeah. And it persisted for 2 weeks. There are people, I was looking it up, there are people who injured their ulnar nerve to the point they have to get surgery if they continue after they like lose feeling in their hand. I could have damaged my nerve to the point where I needed surgery just because of Zero Mission. Have a good look, Silence, and Dog the Kill. Oh, Yumiko. Yumiko? Oh, we have to smite Kinnan, don't we? Yeah, you don't want nerve damage. Don't lean against your elbows, either of them. Or you might get nerve damage and it will suck and you will be very sad and half of your hand, ow, will go numb. Me and Purple? What is that stream title? We're gonna be segueing into that shortly. Okay, let me smite people. Aren't you tired of being wicked? Don't you want to be nice, Kinnan? No! Kinnan, this is because you have not shared enough pictures of your new puppy. Share more. Wait, have you told us her name yet? Kinnan got a corgi puppy this week. Hi, Lucky. Yeah, you have to share. I've seen like
Location
2 pictures.
confirmed.
Give us
Sending
more.
supplies.
Ellie, that's right, Ellie.
Meow.
We need more Ellie pictures in the Discord. Puppy! She's a handful. She's a puppy and she's a corgi. So yes. Yes. Oh, by the way, yesterday, I don't think I mentioned it. Yesterday was 1 year since we got Booker. Purple? This is for... I have to choose my words really carefully. You know what? Fuck it. You're gonna dance at me like that. This is for making me nut so much on stream. You know what? I don't even care if that sounds bad.
Of your reflexes.
Oh, we got another one. I know this music. It's Xenoblade. You got a new Australian Shepherd pupper? You puppy picture. Discord now. If not, jail. If not, jail. Hi, boss. All right. Yumiko, you said you didn't do something. But I don't think I believe you. Boop.
Ouchie meouchie. I went splurty wordy all over the place.
Did you go splurty wordy all over the place? Newfang, this is for... I haven't eaten yet. Eat food right now. But bed comfy. Food good for you. You need that. It's fuel for the getting up and doing things. Newfang. This is what you get for bully. You haven't bullied me today, but I think you did yesterday. And I think you deserve that. But the bed warm. My bed was really warm today too. And I looked over and I had Booker and Bernard were on the bed and they were cuddling and it was really cute. The 17-year-old dog with the 1-year-old cat was pretty cute. But yes, you guys need to take care of yourselves. After this ad break, we will start the book report. Maybe I should go pee before. No. I think the tank is empty. In which case you will be harshly judged. Hi, Neocortex. I don't think I have to pee. Oh, speaking of bread. Speaking of bread, I need to tell you guys something that happened. Remember yesterday when Bingus ate all my bread? Do you remember? Guess what? I wake up and the other loaf of bread has also been eaten. Or like torn open. It was mostly just torn open and he dragged one slice out, ate part of it, and then threw up. Oh no, something's wrong with that cat. Something's wrong with that cat. Booker has taught him to be a hooligan. Booker showed up from the streets and decided to teach Mr. Bingus how to misbehave. Mr. Bingus used to be so well behaved and now he's the worst. I love him though. He's a very sweet cat. I love it when I give him... Oh no, Bingus is my gray cat. So I have 3 cats and 1 dog. I have 4 pets. I have Bernard. He's my 17-and-a-half-year-old dog. I'm not on the leaflet server yet. I think if you do ! Discord, it'll give you the link. So we have Bernard, aka Nard. And he is 17-and-a-half. He's a Papillon. So he's little and fluffy and very old, and he is deaf, and he has like no teeth anymore because he's like old, like he's like basically 110, like he's an old dog. And his like hearing is pretty good and his nose is pretty good, but he's just a cuddly, grumpy old man. And then we have Holly, who's our fluffy void cat. You know, she's literally like the standard fluffy void cat. And then we have her son, Isaac, who we call Bingus because he's a big dingus. And he's a short hair gray cat with yellow eyes, and he has like 2 dark gray stripes on his tail, which I thought was kind of interesting. We don't know who his dad was. And he was born before he was my cat and Holly was my cat. It's a whole thing. And I ended up adopting them as a pair, basically. It was mom and son. And then I also have Booker, who we got a year ago. And he's like a brown gray marble tabby. And he's our little savage baby, and we adore him. We adore him. But he's way too smart for his own good. And he teaches everyone how to misbehave. Fatherless cat. Yeah, we don't know who Isaac's dad was. We don't really even know where Booker came from, but we tried to find his home. Couldn't find the home. Couldn't find, like, he had no collar, no chip. He was covered in fleas and had ticks and looked like he was starving, so he had probably been on the streets for a bit. He also seemingly had been hit by a car or something. It was a whole thing a year ago. And then we adopted him, and he has been our little menace ever since. Hi, Horror. And Booker really likes his siblings. He really likes them. He loves cuddling Nard every night. He loves playing with Holly, and he tries to play with Bingus, but Bingus is socially awkward sometimes, and he doesn't really he's very like, I don't know, he's like, oh, my annoying little brother, I don't want to play with you, whatever. But then like they will get into mischief together. They'll figure out how to like open the trash can together. Yes, it is a lot of action. It is constantly, there's constantly something happening in this banner. Constantly. There's always something. Hi, Argo! After the ad, we're going to... Oh, I downloaded all the stuff for Dragon Pelago, by the way. I'm excited. Yeah, Booker is a very sweet cat. He likes to give kisses, too. Like, he'll just sit in your lap and just, like, lick, 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 lick. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be doing the book report in a second. Whenever the ads are done. Dun, dun, dun. Ah, thank you. Puppy pictures. I'm going to have to find good mood music for this. Hold on. I was going to try to find penis music for the penis book. You know? What? Poppy pic? No. Puppy. Let me see. Okay. Oh, this ought to be good. Nintendo Valentine's Day music mix. This ought to go great. This is gonna be just fine. This will be fine. I'm about to ruin Zelda's lullaby for so many people. Any plans for Christmas? I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even know what I'm doing for Thanksgiving. Usually... Oh! Okay. Argo, this is what you get for... not treating yourself nice enough. Yeah, that's right. That's a crime now. I've decided it's a crime. It's a crime. Because I said so. It's a crime because I said so. And I'm the divine dragon and I get to decide that. I love being the divine dragon. I get to be like, hey guys, it's illegal to wear orange on Tuesdays. Is anybody wearing orange today? Dragon Pelago canceled because I got murdered by— No! Rip Orange is orange! Rip Aki. Chilling at home for both holidays. Oh, I hope the surgery goes good for Mama Fuzzborn. Because of my red window shade. Well, that's different. That's different. I think. Is anybody wearing orange? Anybody wearing orange today? Anybody? Anybody?
It's Wednesday for me, so I'm exempt to thy rules. Cheer 100.
It's Wednesday for you. What? Wait. Zinza, have a good lurky. I'm baguette. What does that even mean? That you're French? Yeah? Nuh-uh. Wait. Who is it Wednesday for? Hold on. Wait. It's Wednesday for you? What? Oh, that's right. Asia and Australia exist. Wait, we don't really have many Asians and Australians in the leaflets. That's cool. It's still Tuesday in France. I was about to say, if it's Europe, I think it's still Tuesday. Half the world's on a different day. I did kind of forget that. I kind of forgot. Diversity! Yippee! Okay. Have a good look. Dracchio. Let's begin with what I'm sure you guys are all here for. Oh, wait, hold on. We're going to swap to this, I believe. There we go. Okay. I started streaming like midnight for Asia or later. Oh, wait. It's 8 in the morning for Wednesday? We're playing Majora's Mask? We're not. Is that what Donut's here for? Dang. Okay. Why is this not even... All right.
Hi.
There we go. I was like, why is it not starting? Hi, Bleak. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my presentation of Morning Glory Milking Farm. If you guys are not familiar with this book, this is a romance book by C.M. Nascosta. It was on the USA Today bestselling author list. This author was, I do not know their pronouns, so we'll be referring to them as they, them. I hope you guys enjoy the lovely slides I've prepared. I prepared 11 slides for today. Milquetoast Monster Madness, a Morning Glory Milking Farm book report. If you are not aware of why we're doing this, I made a grievous error. And because this book was recently popularized by VTubers such as Matara Khan and Made Mint, this has been kind of all over the VTubing space, I would say. This book is also pretty popular on Book Talk, apparently. And various subreddits have also talked about it quite a bit. Why are you so loud? You gotta calm down. You gotta calm down, Super Paper Mario. Yes. Mint Phantom has also talked about this. Hi, Ness. Apparently she read it. Someone read it at someone else's house, and it became kind of like popular for a couple months over the summer. And again, I can't read excessive paragraphs of this book due to the fact that there is copyright issues with doing that. I can read excerpts every so often, but I will be limiting them to a couple of sentences at most. So, Morning Glory Milking Farm is approximately, I forget the word count, but it's roughly like 18 or 19 chapters. It is a fairly short book. It's pretty thin. It is considered and it is marketed as a monster bait romance that is a slow burn. If you are not sure what a slow burn is a book where it is a romance between two characters, two or more. And in this romance, you have a relationship that forms gradually over the course of the book. So, 59K sounds about right. That sounds about right. So basically, this book is supposed to have the characters falling in love and engaging in a romance where and you know, with a slow burn, a pretty normal characteristic of a slow burn is that they don't immediately hook up. It's supposed to kind of get the reader hooked into the concept of them having a romance together, and they are supposed to gradually, like, the reader is supposed to be like really excited to see the payoff, right? Because you have this romance and it is gradually building over the course of the book. Please remember that as I'm about to talk to you about this book. Hi, Shamaya. Are you ready for the book reports? So yes, the I almost said the game. The book is called Morning Glory Milking Farm. And I should have grabbed a PNG of how you know what? I'll do that really quick. I'll grab a PNG of what the cover of the book Morning Glory Milking Farm. Hold on. It is listed on Goodreads. That's a choice. Ooh, yeah. Glad to have you here too. I can only find this poorly trimmed version, so I guess we're going with that. You know what? We're gonna do it like this. This is how we're gonna do it. This is the, oh, wait, hold on. This is the, oh, it's color splashed. Well, shit. Hold on. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. No. Anyways. This right here is the cover.
Oh no, he's hot!
Oh god, of Morning Glory Milking Farm. As you can see, I am correct in that it says he he is a Minotaur. Okay? He is clearly a Minotaur. She is wearing a dress. Spoiler alert, I don't think she ever actually wears this dress in the book. I don't think this scene actually ever occurs in the book. He is holding at crotch level a container of milk. Okay? A container of milk. I don't know actually if they ever mention what the main character even looks like. It is written from her perspective. It is a first-person, past tense novel. Novella. We'll call it a novella. I think it's technically a novella.
Hi.
Yeah. So I said if someone bought me this book, I would read it and do a book report. Okay? And Madman on Fire did do just that. He bought me the book, so I read it. I read it to its entirety. I even did some research on the sequels because yes, this is part of a whole series of books. Yes, please go check out Mad. Mad is fantastic. If he's a male Minotaur, how can he be milked? So that's the thing. Hi Gord. Hi Loop. That's the thing, guys. So when I agreed to this, I thought, you know, this was gonna be about girl Minotaurs getting milked. And hi Shy. I thought this was going to be about girl Minotaurs getting milked. And maybe the male Minotaur was gonna be part of the farm. It was not until I held the book in my hands that I realized perhaps there was an alternate meaning of being milked. And by then I'd already agreed to it. So, you know, yeah. I will read this excerpt. Oh, hi Graf of from the back. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A, certified, prime beef with manly, meaty endowments to match. So, this is about not what I thought it was about. But that almost made it funnier. I thought this was going to be, because I had heard from a friend who is a surprisingly wholesome person, okay? And I swear by this. Very wholesome, very religious, great friend of mine. However, she's a librarian. So she's seen things, right? She's seen things. She's done, like, you know, she goes to lots of bookstores. She's a writer as well. And she had told me that the book is actually apparently surprisingly good because it has decent world building. And I was like, okay, you know, I can have an open mind. I am someone that has read books with smut before, or like books with sex scenes. I've read some smut before. I've read bad smut. I've read good smut. You know, I've read from the bowels of the AO3 and the FFnet.net to the heights of other books. I've written smut. I've read smut. You know, I've read even the classic 50 Shades of Grey, which I did not spend a single penny on, because it was generously, I will call it hot trash. That's being generous. Prose wise, it is an abomination. We'll not talk about the stereotypes it casts upon the BDSM community, because that is also quite harmful. Very harmful. Very harmful stereotypes and stuff. So, Morning Glory Milking Farm, as I showed you guys the cover, it is considered a monster bait romance. Monster fucking, monster bait is kind of like, yeah, it's a human, usually a human girl, who has intercourse with a individual which would be considered a monster. Now, monster is a very broad term, but it does include Minotaur, right? And they actually do talk about they actually do talk about, because this does take place on Earth, it takes place in the fictional city of, well, it's fictional town of Cambric Creek. It does take place on Earth. There is things, there are things such as like references to Greek mythology in this. They talk about, in particular with the world building, he talks about like his like ancestors and stuff. Hi Kumator, thank you for the 15 stream streak. They talk about like how the Minotaurs used to guard like the labyrinths and stuff like that. Like that is baked into the world building. It, you know, it takes place on Earth and stuff like that. There's some tropes and stuff that are applied to the variety of monsters that are in this world. You do see a variety of monsters. You see there's like werewolves, there's vampires, there's some that really don't have names, but she kind of like vaguely, or they vaguely describe it. I believe I don't remember if the author is a woman or man or otherwise, but the author does describe these monsters occasionally by like attributes and stuff like that. There's orcs, there's elves, etc. Nagas, I think, are also present. I think there's actually a book that's the same. It's like the same series, but it's like a woman falls in love with a Naga man. Yeah. I think there's even ghosts from what I've read. Like that happens later in one of the other books. But anyways, the focus of this book is Minotaurs. So we're gonna continue on to our next slide. We're gonna talk about the 3 characters that matter. And really, the only the first 2 are the ones that we really get any sort of time with. So our protagonist is Violet. I don't remember if they ever give her a last name. I was kind of thinking it was like the author was a she, but I'm not sure. Violet is not really described at all. This is a first person past tense book. Generally speaking, when you have a first person past tense book, it is kind of difficult to fit in descriptions. I know this as a writer, because you're not, like, obviously if you're writing from the perspective of a character, you don't, you know, go up to your mirror and be like, wow, I am a dragon with green hair and amber eyes, you know? Like you don't really think that. So writers usually don't really write that. Violet is our protagonist. She is a millennial. That is one of her major character traits. Really, I didn't put that on here because, like, for space reasons. She is a millennial. She is freshly out of college. They don't mention her degree until it had to be like 40 or 50% of the way through the book. The author does not even bother to tell you what she got her degree in, and it's a one-off line. And I think it was something like art historian or like museum curator, like that kind of vibe. Because it's a throwaway line. And they say like what? I could not remember what it was, but it's something, it's like you work in museums, basically. I believe it was art. So Violet is poor because Violet went to college. And I think she's supposed to be hashtag relatable in that sense. Is animal husbandry? Well, she definitely gets that degree later. So she is characterized as the most generic ass. I think at one point she even talks about avocado on toast millennial. Like, yeah, she can't find a job. She's broke. She has debt. And Violet needs a job.
Hi.
Hi, Noro. Like, literally, she is extremely tropey. She's weirdly obsessed with coffee. Like, weirdly obsessed with coffee. Yeah, so relatable, OMG. So relatable. Oh my gosh, Kat, please. This is not the time to start screaming in the hall. Ugh. Anyways, Violet likes coffee. Dude, she is so loud today. Yeah, she loves coffee. She like spends a ridiculous amount of time thinking to herself about how she wants fancy coffee and not bad coffee. Like a lot. Like way more than you would think. She is horrifically unprofessional in her job. It is slightly disturbing. So, a bit of backstory. Morning Glory Milking Farm. Maybe I should have done the plot slide before this slide, but Violet displays a lot of just unprofessional tendencies at her job. We'll get to that. We'll get to what her job like really entails next time, or next slide. But she's very unprofessional to the point where she like understands she's unprofessional. She's like self-aware, but that doesn't stop her like at all. Like no matter what she does, she's like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. And then she does it anyways. And she's kind of infuriating because she's so single-minded. She's so single-minded. Everything, if it's not about coffee, it's about unprofessional thoughts. Other than that, we basically don't know anything about her other than her mom wants her to come home, to move in home with her. And her dad or other family is really basically never mentioned. But her mom wants her to come home and go on a date with this guy. I think his name is Carson. And Violet just complains about how Carson is boring. We never meet Carson, by the way. She just goes and complains about the idea of moving in with her mom, her overbearing mom, who's just very stereotypical mom, and going on a date with a guy she perceives as boring. So Violet is probably the most lackluster protagonist to exist. Potentially. Rourke. Rourke is the Minotaur love interest. He has massive orbs. He has massive orbs and a very thick love for massages. He has got a very thick love for massages. And he shows up and he's like he's kind of edgy and mysterious at first. And he meets Violet at the Morning Glory Milking Farm. He's one of the clients. He's one of her clients. And he's got like a nose ring and shaggy hair. And he's kind of like a little bit sassy and like sarcastic and like edgy and dark and mysterious. And the writer proceeds to take all of that and throw it out by like halfway through the book. He becomes like he's so edge-tacular, tropey at first. He's like tall, dark, and handsome, mysterious guy. And then he just kind of becomes just the most standard romance, like love interest. It is just kind of like, okay. He is kind of semi-recently divorced, and he's a businessman. And he, I guess, is a client at Morning Glory Milking Farm for extra money. He talks about it at one point, but it's like another throwaway line, I feel, or like a throwaway scene where he's just like, yeah, I like to do, get, more money and stuff like that, like business and stuff. Then there's Galus? I don't know how to say her name. I said Galus. She shows up about halfway through the book and she becomes Violet's bestie, and she's a vampire. And she almost has like legitimately decently thought out character because she's a vampire, she's like dead. But she'll do things like she'll order tea at a cafe just to like hold the tea and like remember how it was to like drink the tea and like be alive and stuff like that. Like it reminds her. But she works at like a restaurant and vampires can go there. And she talks about there being people with like kinks, like getting feasted on kinks. Like humans that go there to offer their blood and stuff. Hi, Legion. But she is a real one because at one point, while Violet is getting ready to try to woo Rourke, Galus waxes her friend's meow meow for her to make sure she gets every last bit of hair. Her meow meow. And that's how you know a homie's a real one. I literally was like, okay, I have really close friends. I don't think I could ever fathom a universe where I go, hey, can you like, yeah, but that's the thing is like the Minotaurs are covered in fur. You know? Like, so why would he? Yeah, she's actually kind of interesting. She shows up like halfway through the book and I'm like, this is my favorite character. There are other characters every so often, but they will show up for a chapter or two and then they just like never come back. There's like an elf that Rourke is like friends with, and she has like, I think it's like an orc boyfriend, and they're like there for like a little bit and then they like don't really go there. Like they don't really like show back. Like they show up like occasionally and it's like they're kind of like nothing burger characters, you know? There's a character at the very start, we'll talk about this character later, who like it kind of acts like, yeah, we can watch movies and Brazilian each other. Exactly. Does the Minotaur? No, he does not. He does not shave himself. No. There's a character at the very beginning. I don't even remember her name. Like legitimately, I cannot remember her name. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. There's a character. Hold on. What's her name? I'm looking. She's kind of like set up to be like the like friendly coworker, and then she literally Kirame, that's her name, Kirame. And then she literally like vanishes and just doesn't even become like a character that matters. There's like this old like crotchety like orc lady that's like annoying and grumpy that also works at the farm, and she shows up for maybe like a chapter and then they like never talk about her ever again. We're talking about that weird furry book? Yes, we are. So every now and then they will try to introduce a character or a plot thread, and then nothing happens with it. This is something that we'll talk about several times. Next slide. Okay. Morning Glory Milking Farm is a story about a millennial woman named Violet who is being hired at the Morning Glory Milking Farm. Morning Glory Milking Farm, the farm, specializes in the gathering of Minotaur bull milk to be put into pills for They talk about this maybe like once or twice. It's supposed to be pharmaceutical. It's supposed to be a clean and professional environment where there is a farm. The Minotaur men arrive. They strip down. They are encouraged excessively to deposit milk by a worker. There's also a vacuum-like thing involved. Hi, Attic. And then that gets put into the jar. So, like, basically, okay. It's real. Hi, Cap. Hi. Happy birthday, Cap. Hi, Red. Yeah, happy birthday, Cap. Hope you're having have a good birthday. I will be done with this so I can take you for your union mandated birthday dinner after. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday. I've made sure Booker has not crawled into your birthday gift. Why have a middleman when I can drink it right from the source? Horror, why are you like this? Why are you like this? Anyways. Booker's not the problem, is it Bingus? Bingus is, he's a fella. Also, Cap, you should check your Twitter if you haven't. So basically, there is a chemical that I guess is in Minotaur bull milk that helps with performance issues for humans. So that is why Minotaur men come to this farm. They basically get paid for it. It's like a side hustle. And apparently it's actually quite normal for Minotaur men to come and do this. That pun only semi-intended. Actually, pun not even intended. Pun not intended. But they are encouraged to, because it's good for you to do that. And as Rourke puts it, if you're gonna jork it in the shower, you might as well just get jorked and get paid for it. Which I'm kind of like, okay, fair enough. Fair enough, right? They kind of talk about this a little bit towards the beginning, and they kind of just like never really talk about it again. But yes. Basically, it's like they're getting paid for it. They're getting paid for it, right? So the guy comes in, like I said, he gets worked over by the worker because that encourages a bigger deposit, and they get more money based off of how much they deposit. And there's different like kinds of clientele that come in. There's some that kind of the workers talk about. It's like, oh, he deposits quickly, or he likes it when you
Location
talk
confirmed.
dirty to
Sending
him.
supplies.
Hi.
Or wear a cow outfit. I wish I could make this up. I wish I could make this up. Hi, Sizzle. Diabolical is right. Thank you for the care package. Anyways, basically, there's different kinds of clientele that come in, and the workers, they do have them on the customer files. So they get paid by how much they deposit. And the worker works the guy up to a point, and when the guy is about to, they put this little pipe thingy around it, and it catches all the stuff and it sucks it into the canister so that it can be taken to the factory. But they produce more because of research has said that they produce more if the worker works the guy. So that's why they have the workers. How detailed were the descriptions? Sometimes like decent, but sometimes kind of like, I don't know. It was like, sometimes I would just glaze over stuff and it's like, wait, what did I just read? And then sometimes it was like, do I need to read the words turgid meat that many times? Anyways, Violet is hired out of desperation to get rid of her college debt that she is hired to Morning Glory Milking Farm as one of the workers. And she becomes infatuated with a mysterious client. She becomes his preferred milker because clients can, if they have a particularly good time with a particular milker, they can request that person. And this mysterious client, Rourke, ends up liking her and starts requesting her to milk him every Friday. Everything about this is encouraged to be as professional as possible. Nobody in the entire book really has any sort of issue with being unprofessional except for Violet. And she is the only human worker there. I think there's one more a little bit later that shows up for like a couple chapters and like vanishes like all the other side characters. Violet from the get-go is like blushing and like peepo shy and stuff like that. And hi, Shutterbug, how are you? Everyone else is treating this as a very legitimate medical facility. Violet is not. And Violet from the get-go, after milking Rourke the first time, is immediately hit with this, oh, I'm catching feelings for this guy. Just because his orbs and one cylinder, is thick and potent, and she's into that. And she understands that she should not be feeling this way. However, she immediately, like, she milks him and she can't stop thinking about him. She can't stop thinking about him. So she like goes home and has alone time thinking about it several times throughout the book over this, what should be a professional medical relationship. There is one point where she comments that she is so excited to see him that she's scared his bull nose will smell it. Is all of her? Yes. She gets trained by Kirime for like a chapter, and then they just let her go. And almost every single chapter is her giving minimum one milking session to somebody. Sometimes there's multiple, and sometimes they're a paragraph long, sometimes there's several paragraphs, sometimes they're a couple pages. There is so many scenes of her milking minotaurs that will just be there for like a scene and then they're gone. And then there's Rourke, and then she talks about how she loves him, but he's different. He's different. She doesn't get excited to see the other ones. She only thinks about Rourke with his shaggy hair and his thick personality that is straight to the point. He's not even her first. He's like her fifth or something like that, but he was different. He was different. He was mysterious. Anyways, Violet finds out his name is Rourke, and after he unwittingly jokes about the death of one of her loved ones and makes her cry, yes, that happens, by the way, he feels like shit and he takes her on a date. So randomly, I remember this gave me the biggest fucking whiplash. We go from chapter like, I don't even remember which one it was. It was like chapter 12 to chapter 13. And there's like a month time skip. And it does not open with there being a month time skip. It's like a couple pages into the chapter. It's like, oh, by the way, Violet's like great aunt died. Her great aunt that she was like super, super, super like close with the book didn't even mention this great aunt until this moment, by the way, died. And she's like really like beaten up about it. So she had to like go, like help with the funeral and stuff like that, take like, bereavement effectively. Right. And she comes back and Rourke's like mad that she's been gone. Cause he's like, I had to like, it was so hard to find out if you even still worked here. They gave me these dumb milkers that didn't touch me like you touched me. And then she's like, I'm sorry, my great aunt died. And she almost cries, or she cries, and she's all emotional. And he could tell. And he's like, oh, shit. And then they go on a date. And then they tease each other a bit and have a lot of sexual tension that's so tropey and overwritten and predictable that I rolled my eyes so hard I thought they're gonna get stuck in the back of my head. And literally, guys, that happens about halfway through the book and nothing happens after. There is a whole half of this book of just scenes, and none of them have any contribution to anything. What brought this on? A dare. So the last third of the book is them just going on dates and naked tangoing. It's like literally just a montage of, oh, let's go on this date. Let's go on that date. Let's go to the coffee shop. Oh, you should meet the Applethorpes. They're such an influential family. Maybe they can help you with getting a better job. And it's like, this is like kind of a plot point that they act like they're going to pursue. Like she's going to like meet the Applethorpes or whatever. And then nothing happens with it. Like they never bring it up again. It never comes back up. It's like, wasn't there this whole plot about you guys you were gonna go like try to be buddy at these like cocktail parties with some like rich people because like Rourke is like rich and like a businessman? I don't even remember if they even say what his business is. Is it like building houses? I don't know. I don't even think they say. Like, but anyways, at one point they're at a restaurant on a date. And this is a restaurant where there are families, by the way. Families. Families. And he starts playing her meow meow like a finger drum. Because she doesn't wear underwear under her skirt. Yes. Yeah. Like the vampire girl, all she does is she shows up, she waxes Violet's meow meow for her. she offers a bit of like sassy remarks, and she has no other prevalence in the plot, but she is somehow the best character. Like, I think she and Violet go on a couple of like a girls' night, and it's like to get coffee. Because everything in this book is about fucking or getting coffee. So, like, she shows up, she's kind of like the like wingman a little bit, but then she like doesn't show up, and then she like shows up and like it's bad. It's like, where's my girl? Exactly. So literally I cringed so hard during this part where Rourke is like playing her meow meow like a finger drum in this restaurant, and she's like excitedly and she reaches the peak of her excitement and has to mask it in this restaurant where there are families, and the families are all there to have like a good meal together. And I was like, this feels illegal. This feels very illegal, and gross and icky. Yeah, she rolls like a nat 20 on concealment. Anyways, like literally the last third of the book, like it's like it's just cutscenes of just nothing happening. And the thing is, like, guys, it is like her getting finger drummed in the restaurant is about as wild as it gets, because everything is like, oh, you know, enjoying each other in the shower, you know, like it's like, oh, they enjoyed a cup of doggy style gamer subs together, you know? It's like the smut was so, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, vanilla. Like, they weren't doing any freaky shit. And halfway through the book, it's like you could have just swapped Rourke out with just any dude. Like any human ass dude, you know? Like, yeah, unmodded smut. It was just like any dude, you know? Like, like the whole him being a minotaur, just kind of like, yeah, you know, he's big and he has hooves. Like every now and then they bring it up, but it's like it doesn't feel like it even really matters. Her whole job at the farm stops kind of mattering because she's just like, all the scenes are just her. Like there was a lot of mention of size play, but like I feel like it just, like, that was the only mention really of him being not a human. Like, I feel like the monsterness of the Minotaur was not even really brought up that much. Like, it was like, yeah, he has big orbs. Thank you for the 20 stream streak. Thank you so much. Yeah, the most extreme thing is the restaurant. And there's a point where he mentions to her that he's worried about them naked tangoing because he might be so big that he hurts her. This is a plot point that is immediately thrown out 3 pages later because they do it. And it's like a whole different chapter. He just suddenly doesn't care about that. He goes, yeah, okay, let's do it. Like, he stops a whole, like her coming on him because he's like worried. and then he just doesn't care. Like 3 pages later. Like anything that could have been any sort of character dynamic or plot point or anything, it just gets totally thrown out the window. So Big It Might Hurt would be like an interesting thing for them to have explored, but because it was interesting, they brought it up for 1 second and then they totally disregarded it because it got in the way of just montaging sensual and beyond scenes. You know? Like, and that's the vibe I got, right? Thank you for the 3 stream streak. It was like, if it got in the way of the most vanilla ass, plain ass. Yeah, no mention of really that either, Braun. It was like, if it got in the way of what I felt was the most generic smut scenes, it was maybe brought up for a second and then completely disregarded. I'm going to snooze the ad. We got another 10 minutes. And the ending just kind of ends. Like suddenly she gets a new job. Just suddenly. She's like, oh yeah, by the way, I got a call. Yeah, I got a new job. Like there's no her actually getting interviewed. She mentions that she's going to get interviewed and then it skips all of that. And suddenly she just has the job. She gets like a phone call like, oh yeah, I have the job now. And you know, it's just like, huh? Like anything that was not specifically like the romance scenes just gets totally thrown out. Any ounce, any speck of like anything was just totally thrown out the window. Yeah. Any sort of transition, any sort of like building up character or anything like that, totally thrown out. The ending was flaccid. That is the best word I could find to describe it. Pun only semi-intended. Like that was the best word I could think of. It was just like, and then it just ends. It ends on the most bland, whatever note. It was just like, okay. Like, the story was such a non-story. Like, it was one of those, this could have been 2 chapters. This could have been 3 chapters, maybe. You know? Because nothing really amounted to much. What's it rated out of 10? 2 because of the vampire NPC. Vampire NPC. I mean, everybody felt like an NPC in that. You know, you can find some really good shit on AO3. I have read some good shit on AO3. I read a really good BDSM one a couple years ago that was Dragon Age. And it legitimately, I still think about that one because it explored like trauma and like there was like a whole intrigue plot and it explored so many deep and dark things. It explored like masochism and like psychological like stuff. It explored like drug addiction. It was like it was crazy good. And that's why I think that there can be good smut. And we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that in a minute. Analysis. The pacing is atrocious. Actually, an affront to God. Anything that is not Violet having sexual fantasies, buying coffee, milking bulls, or getting her hoop slam dunked is summarized or done off screen. Even important moments like when she has a family member die, which is the whole focal point of how she and Rourke end up even like dating. It's legitimately whiplash inducing. Whenever I got to that scene where it was like, oh yeah, it was like a whole like month of her being gone. It was like, wait, what? Like, huh? It was just so whiplash inducing. It was so random that it was just like, I had to sit and like reread the sentences I was reading. The plot, bare bones. Like it's infuriating because the book will. I hope you guys enjoyed the graphic design for this, by the way. Have you guys been enjoying all the graphic design? You guys like the flexing? You better be enjoying it because I worked my butt off on this. Anyways. It's all milk with hearts. I was surprised that I could find so many graphics of just milk splashing. The book will pretend like it will do something like interesting, like, you know, the stuff about like the size difference, you know, conundrum, meeting the like rich family, you know, stuff like that. It will pretend like it's about to do something, and then it will just like never address it ever again. The thing will just be magically resolved. Like, it just, yes, everything has been in Comic Sans too. It's just so infuriating because it almost has a good idea and then it refuses to follow through with the good idea. They didn't actually go into detail, no. It's just like, it's really big. It's huge. She could barely fit her, you know, she couldn't fit her hands around it. You know, stuff like that. It was very generic. Like, yeah, Rourke basically could be swapped out with any Smutman Joe from any book. His Minotaurness barely seems to account for much except for when, he does moo at one point. Whenever he gets really excited and shows her his milk. And then one time, sometimes it's sometimes they talk about his hooves, but legitimately it's so far and few in between, guys. I looked up people talking about this book on Reddit, okay? I literally read a whole subreddit thread about this book, and there were normie women in the thread that were like, oh, he had hooves? I don't remember them even mentioning he had hooves. I just thought he was a man, a human man with a cow head. That is how infrequent the actual monster fucking part of this book even is. It is so infrequent that I feel like it's almost false advertisement that they call this monster baiting. I feel like it is. Because other than the milking part at the farm, it's barely mentioned. And at some point, they're seeing each other out of work, right? 3.5 game I ran that actually got, players kept wanting to screw things larger than them or smaller than them. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I should add that to my campaign. It's baiting in the sense that it's not actually like, it doesn't feel like a proper monster fucking book. It feels like bait. I was actually expecting literally anything to happen with her basically being unprofessional and seeing this client outside of her job, because they kind of make it sound like that's going to be like a plot point and then nothing happens. Like literally nothing happens. I don't think it was actually AI. However, there were a lot of typos at the very beginning. I did notice that. There's typos and just, I think in chapter 1 there's like 3 or 4. But anyways, like, it doesn't really feel like a proper monster romance book. It feels very vanilla. Like, it feels very vanilla. Like, it would be considered monster fucking to a normie who doesn't know any better, I guess. But for me, personally, it needed to be way freakier. Violet is infuriatingly unprofessional and single-minded. Literally, her thought process is like, want coffee, want no debt, human dudes are boring, want to fuck client. I mean, want to tango the client. Rourke begins with promise. You know, he's kind of interesting. He's a little bit sassy, kind of feisty, but then he kind of like devolves into standard rich, sexy dude. That's really like often seen in romance books. He like kind of tries to be interesting, and then he's just kind of like, eh. There's characters in the book that never really impact the story or show up after a scene or two. And I feel like not to do with monster baiting and queer baiting, basically. Thank you for the 3 stream streak. Thank you so much. Hi, Saucy. Yeah, that's kind of the impression I get, Samara. It's like it's a normie who wrote it because, well, I have some ideas about why this book got written. But basically, like, this book is written purely to trim any sort of excess beyond the bare bones scenes of Violet and Rorik's relationship developing and them fucking. Also, at one point, this is Kirame. This character I'm about to talk about, this character who like teaches her how to milk the Minotaurs. Her name's Kirame. She's like mentioned for like 2 chapters, and then she shows up maybe a little bit later for like a scene, and then she's gone. She is described literally as fucking Mantis from MCU. I'm not even joking. I laughed out loud. Like, she's described as having like antennae and like black hair, like, and like you know, Caucasian skin and like strange bug-like eyes. And I'm just like, okay. Okay. Like, this is like chapter 1 or 2 as well. And I was like, really? Like, we can't even come up with like our own monster NPC that's gonna show up for like 2 chapters? Literally Mantis from Marvel. Like, she's literally described as that. I wish I had like put a little bookmark where she's at, but I'm looking. I don't know if I can find. Hold on. I'm looking. Oh yeah, there's also moth people. They're always in the background. They're never actually like. Oh, okay. The woman's wide, dark eyes were just that, wide and dark. A solid, inky pupil that bled into an iris of... You know, actually... I thought this was first person, but it is third person now that I look at it. I think I was just crashing out so hard, I didn't comprehend. But I wrote it was first person in my notes. I think I'm dumb. I've been talking a lot about first person stuff to other people, so I think that's why I put that in my notes. Okay, hold on. The woman's wide, dark eyes were just that, wide and dark. A solid, inky pupil that bled into an iris of the same color, with no white sclera to break up the doll-like effect. Skipping down a little bit, she wore a cap over her dark hair, but Violet was able to make out twinned protrusions at her hairline poking against the thin batting of an elastic cap, either horns or antenna. I know. It has been a couple months since I read it in its entirety, but I did reread some of it this week. So basically, she's literally just Mantis from Marvel. So is this a real book? Yes, I'm holding it in my hands. Basically, Mantis from MCU is here. There's like a scene with Violet talking about an elf. Oh, talking with an elf. I forget her name. But she's like Rourke's friend and like neighbor. And she has an interspecies relationship with, I believe, an orc that you see maybe once in the whole book at like a party. And then the elf just kind of doesn't exist after. She shows up just to talk to Violet about the difficulties of interspecies relationships for like a couple paragraphs, and then she's gone. And then she's gone. Galus is the only interesting character because she's funny. She's funny. She's interesting. She actually feels moderately well thought out. And it's a shame that she's not in the book more. So, a critique summary. I think the world building sometimes is kind of interesting. Sometimes, like, okay, you have a vampire restaurant and you have people who come in and they offer their blood for the vampire restaurant. That's interesting. If you ever host a PowerPoint party, this would be a strong entry to bring with you. Thank you. Like, the concept of the Minotaur guys getting milked or whatever for the pharmaceutical reasons is also something that is like, okay, you know, this is kind of interesting. But hold on, we need to find more music. Oh, wait, no, this is the one we just listened to. But unfortunately, basically everything that's interesting world building wise is almost always about fetishes or naked tangoing. One thing I mentioned earlier, how it talked about how the Minotaurs, you know, they talk about the Minotaur in the labyrinth or whatever in Greek mythology. So you're never gonna guess what spin that goes, you know. They do a spin with it. And the spin is that basically the people loved getting thrown into the labyrinth with the Minotaur because they loved getting up close and personal and naked with the Minotaur. It ended up being something good because the Minotaur would treat them real good. So we just took a whole... They love getting their hoops slam dunked. And they would just want to go live with the Minotaur. It was all like... It was all about how potent the Minotaurs were and how they could service, I guess, multiple people. That's the impression I got. And I was just kind of like, huh? That's not what happened in the labyrinth. What do you mean slam dunked? They were the basketball hoop and he was the basketball. So, yeah. 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 The interesting bits are like never expanded upon. And I think that's the crazy part. Again, this book has a really bad habit of introducing something that is mildly interesting and then taking it away and being like, no. Back to the vanilla sex scenes with you. I mean, the vanilla dancing scenes with you. Cons, it's like mid at best. I feel like it's just not that freaky. Like, it's just not that freaky. I feel like it needed more freak because it's like very generic-y romancy and bye, kitten. I hope you have a good sleep. And yeah, you need to have more freak, you know? And I feel as though just overall, if they had left, you know, if they had not been as freaky as they could have been, and if they had, say, left in some like actual plot or literally, I'm not saying it needed plot, but it needed like something other than the scenes being her milking bulls, her buying coffee, or her slam dunking herself thinking about Rourke or getting slam dunked by Rourke. Like, it needed something. It needed something other than that. The scenes get really repetitive after a while and very, 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 like, boring. Like, very boring. It's like, yes, okay, you're milking another one. You milked 5 in the last chapter. It's, you know, it's like so much of the same over and over and over again that it loses any sense of novelty. I think like maybe if you just don't read that much smut, or maybe you're like very brand new to monster fucking, maybe it's like fine. Maybe people would like it more. But I think that in general, it's just very mid. It's not like, it's just very like, it's not even like mid, it's like mid at the best parts, bad at the bad parts. Yeah, there's no conflict really ever. It's like, yeah, she has to get a job to pay off her debt, but she literally resolves that in chapter 1, you know? By chapter 1, she's already watching the like video to like the introduction to like your job video, you know? It's already been resolved. It's not about her trying to earn a job. But she already has the job. Like, she already has the job by the time the book starts. Hi, Thetalis! Thank you for the 55 stream streak. This is the most stream of all time. So it's like, yeah, like her conflict is like, oh, this is so inappropriate and sexy. Oh no, it's so sexy. How am I gonna do this? I don't know. And then like nothing ever comes of it. Exactly, Shy. Exactly. The monsterness doesn't feel prevalent enough for this to be considered a monster romance. I do believe that. Like the milking stuff, kind of like freaky and different. I mean, I guess you could milk a human. I guess you could. But like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as prevalent. Yeah, being boring is the worst thing you could do for yourself. We have men's milking tables. Like, okay, like, yeah. So it's like the milking stuff is like weird and probably kind of fetishy related, but it's like not, I don't know. It's like, it's not quite monstery enough. There's also some typos and grammar issues, particularly in the first couple chapters I noticed. There's just some little like typos and missing words and stuff like that. So it feels like, because I'm pretty sure this is an indie book. I do not believe this was published through a publishing house, which means she either hired an editor or she edited it herself. I don't believe it was done well. And if they decided to cut a bunch of extra stuff, I feel like they cut too much to the detriment of the book. What is a good monster fucking story? The thing is I feel like I've seen more monster fucking than I've read. So I feel like I would need to go research more. But yes, this is a series. I believe there are 4 or 5 other books in this series. There's one book that is literally this same book, but they pulled a Twilight, and it's the same book, but it's from Rourke's perspective instead of Violet's. You know? So, yeah. Yeah. There's one, it's about a werewolf. There's one about a girl fucking a spirit, or like a phantom. There's one about a naga. I forget what the other one is. Maybe a Mothman. But I have no confidence that these will actually be interesting, except maybe the Phantom one. I don't know. Anyways. Moving on to our next slide. We're on slide 8 out of 11. Basically, the book is marketed as a slow burn. However, I take massive offense to this. I feel as though this book is not a slow burn because she's literally like milking minotaurs, and I think she runs into him by like chapter 2. And so she's technically already have milked him by like chapter 2 or 3, and it doesn't feel like a slow burn because there's constantly scenes of her doing stuff like that. And slow burn, as I said at the start of the presentation, is supposed to be a you know, the relationship builds over time and then you're rewarded by like the romantic parts, right? So I feel like this is not a slow burn, it's a fast burn, because almost instantly they are engaging in activities with each other. Even if it is professional on paper, it is unprofessional from her perspective, and we get everything from her perspective because it is third person limited perspective. It is third person limited. Yeah. There is no sense of slow burn. It's like there's one chapter, I think, maybe 2, where there's not a sex scene. After you break water to pure yeah, Pride and Prejudice, that's a slow burn. Like, it's just so, it happens really fast, it cuts to the point, you know, it cuts to chase real quick, and it's very repetitive. And the milk vacuuming and sensual salsa scenes just get really repetitive, and they're not really innovative. They're really not. It's like, I feel like it just couldn't, I don't know. It just, like, it doesn't bother to try to do anything interesting. It's like, yeah, there's the whole milky thing, and the first few times it's like, whoa, what the fuck? But then, like, after a while, it's like, okay, we've done this song and dance several times. You know, we need something kind of new. And then it just never does anything new. The pacing is kind of trash. Developments happen off screen, and there's no real payoff for the ending. It just kind of, the ending happens, and nothing really happens in the whole, like, last third of the book, like I said. So I feel like it feels like a nothing burger of a book, which is really funny considering it's about Minotaurs. It feels like a nothing burger book, though. Like, there's just no driving force behind it. It feels like I read a montage. A montage of scenes that, yes, have some sort of connection to each other, but they don't feel like a fluid story. And I think that's important. Your book should not be a montage of scenes. They should feel like a story. They should feel like there's cohesion and fluidity. The prose itself wasn't awful. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. The prose being how the sentences are structured and like the choice of words and stuff like that. It was not awful. I actually think the author does have some level of skill. I really do. Does a monster elements affect society in other ways? Not really. It's kind of like, yeah, this is a human place. Yeah, there's like vampire restaurant. Yeah, there's like occasionally they'll mention something monstery, but it's never like that impactful, and it's always kind of like a one-off little comment. You know? That's kind of how it is. So I feel like this next part is very important. This next part is funnily enough, I used Canva's like graphic, they have like a database, and I just pulled things out of there, and I was like, God help me. God help me, this looks terrible, but I think that makes it better, because that's a bunch of milk cartons in the background. Okay, now we have to talk about the elephant in the room. But it's smut. It's supposed to be bad. I'm so tired of this argument. I'm so tired of this argument. We gotta talk about this. Stop. Cease. It's smut. It's supposed to be bad. No. People have enforced this idea for a while, and it is a shit ass argument, and we're gonna talk about why. I think you can have good smut books, but the author needs to put in some work. We don't tell artists, oh, don't worry about composition or don't worry about shading. We don't do that kind of stuff. We tell artists, you should worry about these things. You should learn these skills and add them to your art. We shouldn't be telling writers to skimp out on things like good characterization, dynamics, and plot. The thing is, it's supposed to be steamy, but it doesn't even... Well, here's the problem with that. I don't think Morning Glory Milking Farm is even the worst offender that I've ever read. I think the author can probably write well, but we encourage this kind of fast-paced TikTok brain, get to the smut when it comes to smut, and I think that's honestly poisoned writing. I think it's poisoned the concept of writing. I think it's poisoned the concept of consuming writing. People like stuff to be fast. They like to get to the point. They just want to read the spicy smut. And I think that is contributed to writers writing worse. I think it's contributed to readers encouraging writers to write worse. Because we're going to talk on the next slide about shock value being a factor that I think is why this book got popular. What this does overall is it causes people to read, so it's causing writers to write worse. It's causing readers to read this worse writing. And I feel like it's slowly leading us to just not appreciating actual payoff in books, like reading like longer works of literature and comprehending and understanding like the nuances in that literature. I think that it's basically we've turned things into it has to be shocking and it has to be quick payoff. And it's harming the actual art of writing. There is art to writing. Anyone can put words on paper, but not everyone can write in a sense that is like good writing. It is a skill you have to develop. It's much like art, but unfortunately people have always been really, really, really different when it comes to writing. Like they treat writing so much differently than art, Like they let people get away with bad writing almost on purpose. It's like this is a skill that we should be encouraging people to polish and sharpen. Yeah, if you're a writer, you should read all kinds of writing. Bad writing, good writing, inside your genre, outside of your genre, poetry, essays, whatever. You should read everything. But what we encourage right now as a society, especially online, is stuff that doesn't really, it's not designed to be art. It's designed to sell. And that's a problem. But it's a problem because, you have so many books out there that are written by people who put a lot of heart into their books. And those books often get shoved to the side because you have people that are like, oh, we got to read this like girl fucking a door, like it feels like we're not rewarding our like actual writers. We're rewarding people who come up with crazy shock value. We can have smut that gets to the point and and is like good and has like good plot and good characterization and good dynamics. It doesn't have to be deep plot. It doesn't have to be plot that takes chapters and chapters between the like sex scenes, but you can do it. You can do it. But right now, we're at this point where people are really rewarding this kind of like romantasy that is written for shock value because it's weird, because it's different. And I think that this mindset has poisoned the idea of not only smut, but writing in general. I think it has. I feel like it has affected how we consume reading. Last slide, because I still pop off about this. The writing world is in a dire place. Let's be so for real. It's nice that we can take these books and enjoy them for being non-serious. I feel like we're a little too, as a society, willing to encourage mediocrity for the bit. There's a lot of these direct to Amazon romantasy books that are written kind of by a formula strategy, but with something weird to add shock value. Meanwhile, there's a lot of stuff with actual heart and passion being put behind it, you know, and it's being written by these dedicated authors, and they often have to work really hard to be noticed because they don't have something slapped on the front like bull milking lol, you know? And this was something that I realized a little bit later after I read this book. I was like, you look at TikTok and right now it's like the most shocking, crazy romantasy that you've ever like seen before. And it's all just like shock value, shock value, shock value. And I think that this does not even just apply to smut. This is kind of, I'm sorry if I hurt people's feelings about this, but a while back, I wrote something that was awful, cringeworthy, terrible. It was a Fortnite fanfic about myself and Raku-chan. Yes, it was a little shorter than my usual chapters. It was like a couple thousand words, though. And it's funny to me how so many people that I'm friends with were so willing to read that, but as soon as it was something I put my actual like heart and soul into, it was much more difficult to get anybody to read it. But the funny little Fortnite one, yeah, sure. The one that I despised because it was awful to write, because it was so cringe-inducing. But as soon as I was like, I wrote this piece, it is very dear to me, suddenly people don't care. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings for saying that, but I, as a writer, get so fed up with seeing good work go completely unnoticed. It's like the shock value stuff gets all the views. And it's just tiring because it doesn't contribute to the actual art of writing. It doesn't contribute to the actual art of it. And I think that's a problem. I think we should be all reading more. I should be reading more. I do know there's people in my server that do, but it's shocking to me how sometimes it's like it's really difficult to get people to pay attention to something that you put a lot of heart into. I've been working on a short story. It's called Out in the Cold. And it has to do with my VTuber lore. And I never told you guys why I wrote it. But I wrote it not to get too dark and like depressing. I wrote it to cope with feelings of the event that gave me complex PTSD. Because that's something that I have. I have CPTSD. And that is something that has always been very difficult for me to talk about. But I wrote that story. I've been working on it. It's not done. But I've been working on it to cope with these feelings and to cope with what happened. And I love working on it, but it is something that I'm always like, I really, really hope people read it. Because one, there's some like crazy bombshells about VTuber lore, my VTuber lore in there. But it was written from a place of like a very emotional place, and very like there's just a lot of like, you know, me working through things as I'm writing it. And it's crazy how people will be like, Fortnite fanfic. But when it comes to like the actual thing that is like me facing my traumas and stuff like that, it's like people just like, whatever. Now, I haven't actually talked about it until now, but yes, like there is some parallels in that story. There are some parallels about some things that happen, and there will continue to be parallels. And I finally sat down to write it because I finally realized I had to for myself. So like at the end of the day, I was kind of like, if this doesn't get mad views or whatever, it's fine, because I needed to do this for myself. And I do agree with Jim Jam. I feel like it's kind of becoming this way for like shows or games. It's like shock value is such a prevalent thing. Everything has to grab you with like, oh my God, that's crazy. Oh my God, that's such a wild thing to put in your story or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's like the clickbait mentality and stuff like that. Also, this is not me trying to say everyone go read that short story. Like, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to like illustrate from my perspective how it's been frustrating for me to see clickbait stuff just take off so like hard. But then it's like you have something that you really care about, and it's like, that it's good, but it doesn't get nearly as much as you would ever hope it would, And that's kind of why I'm Morning Glory Milking Farm, I don't even think is like the worst offender. But I feel as though it's part of the problem. It's part of the problem. I don't know if it was intended to be part of the problem, or if maybe the author read other things that were part of the problem and then were inspired to write that. I don't know. But I think that there is definitely a problem. I feel like this book could have actually been really good. That's the crazy part, is I actually feel like Morning Glory Milking Farm could have been really good. But they trimmed so much, and they just made such safe decisions that it ends up being milquetoast. Just absolutely blah. It's not great. It's like sometimes bad, but it's not great or even good. I'm in the middle of reading the Bible. I'm not going to get preachy. No worries. I did a whole college course on reading the Old Testament from a researcher standpoint. There are many passages that connect the overall narrative of the Bible, like the theme in Genesis with the binding of Isaac. Did you know my cat is named after that Isaac? Fun fact. And seeing it echoed in the New Testament with Jesus' sacrifice. Yes. Though in the case of the former, it was a test. Yes. Yes. It was how far would Abraham go? Yes. It's a parallel. I wouldn't touch religious text. It was a college course that was offered through my college, which was a non-religious college. It is,
confirmed.
and we studied the Old Testament from the angle of multiple religions. We did not study it purely from the Bible. Hi Frosty, have a good lurk, and thank you for the care package. Yeah. There's like, yeah, for every one, there's like 40 more. Exactly. Just straight to the cool parts of the action. I agree. The title is Out in the Cold. Yeah, it's Out in the Cold. There was a reference to Out in the Cold. in one of the lore videos, but I'm not gonna mention. It's probably obvious if you look back at one of the lore videos. That's true. Mental health barrier is definitely, even though I think the first chapter of Out in the Cold is technically like shorter than the entirety of the Fortnite fanfic. It's like mental barrier, hee hee hoo hoo, you want to read something happy or whatever. Yeah, we consumed it from a researcher perspective. When we did the Old Testament study, it was really interesting. It was really, really fascinating. I like reading that kind of text to kind of like, you know, and then you like contextualize it with like history and culture and stuff like that. When my sister went to seminary, part of her course, it was actually really fun. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. We had people of all sorts of walks of life in that class. We had people, we had Muslims in the class. We had Christians in the class. We had lots of atheists, lots of agnostic people. I think we had a few Jewish people there too. I think a few, maybe one or two. It was a pretty big class. We took it over the summer as well. Yeah, I come from a very religious family as well. So I feel you. I feel you. I am currently of the spiritual but not religious mindset. Personally for myself. But do you recommend reading Out in the Cold as it comes out or wait until it's all been written? Either way, it depends. I'm gonna try to like lock in and work on it more. I think the next chapter is like halfway done. Skyward Sword is really good. So I hope to not give you guys like a whole long read for it or like wait for it. Went over the history of chess and literature or analyzing video games like they were literature. I love them both. That sounds so fun. I really do like learning about little things like that. I like learning about history, particularly religions and stuff like that. I think it's super fun. I took several courses in college about philosophy and just various religions across the world. And the one I vibed with a lot when I was learning about it was Hinduism. I thought that was such a vibe. Hinduism, very chill. Yeah. Hinduism was a big vibe. Yeah. Yeah, I think we read a lot more than we think we do. I'm reading everything you guys are saying to me right now. You know? I think you know, also another thing you could do to make it easier, and I'm going to start doing this to myself, is just one chapter a day. Just one. It's hard for me to get started reading, but as soon as I start reading, it's hard for me to stop reading. You know? Yeah, but Twitch chat kills brain cells. Okay. New strat. How many hours do you spend doom scrolling? Do you need to doom scroll that long? Or could you take that time to take a break from reality? Read a chapter. Read a chapter of something. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Go read a chapter. Could be like a World War II, you know, book. Could be a fantasy book. Could even be romantasy. I'm not sitting here trying to knock romantasy. I think that there is a difference, and I talk about this a little later on the slide, between something like ACOTAR and the stuff you see recommended whenever you buy Morning Glory Milking Farm. I think there's a difference. You finished the 10th Dresden Files? Good! Generally a positive experience? Oh. My childhood was not okay. I don't want to start like a religious debate or anything. You know, believe what you guys want to believe. The point is I think there's been a decline in what is being pushed by people to read. And I think it's not it's all over the internet. And I think it's powered by shock value. And I feel deeply about this. I feel deeply about this because I've always felt as a writer, writers get treated so non-seriously. Everyone thinks they can put words on paper, but actually making and crafting a good story, crafting good worlds, crafting amazing characters that stick with you your whole life is an art. And I really, really, really hope that we move past this like social media thing. When was the last time we had that book? You know, when I was a kid, it was Harry Potter. We're not going to talk about Harry Potter because that's a whole thing. But there was Harry Potter. There was Artemis Fowl. I mean, Harry Potter was like the big one. There was like Percy Jackson. It was the book that everybody wanted to read. It was the one that everybody was looking forward to. We don't have that. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking too. No, it was Hunger Games. It was Hunger Games. That is the last one. And that came out when I was in high school. And I'm a 32-year-old dragon. Oh, Magic Tree House, my beloved. I have a Kindle, so I'm just going to read on that. Do it. Hunger Games, Divergent, stuff like that. Yeah. Card is free for all the books you want, like at a library. E-readers. Yeah. It's actually so easy to consume, like decent writing, but it's so frustrating because it feels like people just want to talk about, I hate saying the word slop, but just like shock value slop. It's not even romantasy. I don't like romantasy. It's not my cup of tea, but I understand people who vibe with it. I understand people who vibe with it, you know? And I feel that there's nothing wrong with vibing with it. But we need to stop just pushing shock value slop. Stuff that is designed to pull you in just because it's weird in like a non-critically thinking way. Scholastic book fairs need to start being a thing again. We need to save the future. We need to save the future generations. Sometimes your brain needs to be challenged. And I think that just about anyone can enjoy reading for fun, but they have to find the right books. And I know that school does some damage by forcing you to read fucking, what is it? What was that one? As I Lay Dying and stuff like that. But I think like, I always, as a kid, read so much. Yes, I would read the stuff that we had to do at school, but I also had like 2 other books I'd be reading too. Things that I wanted to read for fun because I liked enjoying the stories. Spirit Animals and Geronimo Stilton, The Kingdom of Fantasy books. Never read those. I really want to read Terry Pratchett stuff. Heart of Darkness. Blech. I hated Heart of Darkness. Frankenstein. I actually hated Frankenstein because I had to read it 3 years in a row. Oh, Hardy Boys books. I remember those. Yeah, I actually bought a book on a whim from an author at a convention because I walked up to him and I just started talking to him. I was like, "Hey, so you're you're like an indie author. You know, how was your publishing experience doing this by yourself?" And he talked to me for quite a while. So I bought his book and he signed it and everything. And I thought that was really sweet of him. So I need to read that book. I bought it in July. I should probably read it. I will. But yeah, the most valuable thing I learned from reading Morning Glory and Milking Farm is that I need to read more books from people that aren't churning out attempts at shock value. Sure, there's some value in reading something like this, a book that isn't trying to be more than it is, although it kind of does try to be more than it is sometimes. It's very non-committal. But as a writer, I just like how these books have dominated the market and conversations online especially. Obviously, there's a difference between Morning Glory Milking Farm and something like A Court of Thorns and Roses, which apparently is actually decent. Haven't read it yet. But the thing about these romantasy books that exist for shock value is they feel like they exist to shock people into purchasing more. Instead of like it's like shock value purchase. I want to read this because it's shocking and weird, not because people actually have a love for writing and a love for character creation and character dynamics, and that makes me big sad. That makes me big sad. You can honestly skip the first one. No Longer Human? Yeah, my sister recommended one. I forgot what it was called though. Yeah, AO3 honestly has some damn good stuff out there. Please, a great character sticks with me. Sounds like Amalia. Please help me unstick her. I need to change clothes. Hi, Baron. Thank you for the tier 2 for 41 months. Let's go. We're at the end of my book report. We're at the book report end. We are. But this was honestly such a fun experience. Like, I wasn't sure if I was gonna add the like serious part, but I was like, no, I feel like we need to talk about this. And I want people to read more. Oh, Buddy Badger, thank you for the tier 1 for 1 month. 1 month. Let's go. Do we have a hype train? Thank you both so much for the hype train. Jim Jam, thank you for the 70. I should share this. Streak is 1 too high. True. I like the serious Amali conversations. They're well thought out. Thank you. Sometimes I'm smart. Sometimes I'm smart. Hi, Roxo. How is Ocarina of Time? I saw you were in the Fire Temple. Did you beat it? Jim Jim? Huh? Jim Jim? Huh? You picked up a horror book from a romance author. That sounds like it could be fun. It'd be interesting to see how they do a spin on it. I finished the rando. I was dumb and forgot I had to get the last key in the tub. Oh! Ooh. You wasted like an hour. Anyways, yeah. I'm still doing my Majora's Mask rando, and it has been cursed and not. Cursed and not. I get to smite Jim Jam really quick. I guess I'll get rid of that. I've been yelling about the book I read that was not ideal. Less than ideal book. Morning Glory Milking Farm. Ooh, okay. You deserve this. I see you. I see you, Jim Jam. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Actually, you didn't even make a mistake. You're doing something perfect. You're playing Majora's Mask, and that's an amazing game. Nova! Hello! Oh. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello! How are y'all today? You guys are here just in time. I was doing a book report on Morning Glory Milking Farm, a book that I read with my own 2 eyes that was a milk toast experience at best. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. My name's Amalia. I'm a Divine Forest Dragon, and I usually play retro games and Nintendo games. I am very close to the screen now. And I really like randomizers lately. We've been doing lots of randomizers. Also, chat took my clothes. If you see my clothes, let me know. Let me know. Welcome in. What are you guys up to? Wait, you were streaming. Goofy gorillas? I'm not bald! But I could be. I could be. Oh, I think my clothes are getting put back on. Look at this. Whoa! My clothes! Uh-oh. Ah! No! Ah! Oh, God. What happened? But welcome in. Welcome in. I just finished my book report. I could give a very quick TLDR if you guys want, or if you want to run for the hills, understandable. We're a little bit cozy. We're a lot bit unhinged. Lot bit unhinged. But thank you so much for raiding in. I hope you guys had a fantastic stream. If you guys got to raid and run, eat, sleep, or lurk, do what you got to do, my gamers. I really appreciate you swinging by. That's so sweet of you. And congrats again on being accepted into the Dragon Council. Let's go. Let's go. Goofy games. I love goofy games. I love whimsy. We're whimsical here. Goofy games. Also, Ruby, thank you for the gifty. Wait, where did you gifty? Vin, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the leaflets. Who got the gifty? Whom stiff? Oh, I see. We reviewed a book where the conclusion was the writer is a coward and needed to be freakier. Yes. Ow. The writer was a coward and needed to be freakier. And I'm tired of people writing shock value novels. Shock value novels. The devil. That's what I think they are. I think they're the devil. Hold on. I want to go back to my other lighting. I want to go back to that. Here we go. There we go. Anyways, Morning Glory Milking Farm. It's true. Based and true. Needed to be freakier. I don't like if he's gonna be a Minotaur, he needs to be a little bit freakier. Dude, add like a labyrinth bondage thing. The background is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Also, everyone, I know Roxo came in right before the raid. Also, check out Roxo, my model papa and designer. Yeah. And also go check out Nova VT, who is a new Drago of the council. We did the first wave of acceptances yesterday. There's going to be a couple more waves, I think. A couple more waves. We had so many. We had like over 80 applications. We had to get a whole committee. We had to get a whole committee to help me review all the stuff. Don't look at me, Amali is my wait, what? Is this still going? I have a fear. No, we're done with the review. It is massive. Yeah, literally, my review was Morning Glory Milking Farm. 2 stars out of 10 needed to be freakier. Also, if I didn't say so before, if you guys got to raid and run, eat, sleep, or like do what you got to do, my gamers. I'm drinking some tea right now. What are we doing now? I really don't know. I really don't know. Also, if you guys see Cap, he was here earlier. It is his birthday today. He was here earlier. I think he's doing something in his shop. Yeah, I hope you guys liked my book report presentation. Oh, wait, no sound redeems? I guess I could have a mod unpause those. I hope you guys liked it. Maybe I'll do another book report in the future. Don't forget, wait, what? I got it too because of a very minor side character. True. My beloved Galus, my beloved.
Funding for a book that isn't trash.
I appreciate that. Ah, I see we're nutting again. Very nice. Very nice. Yep. There we go. I've been thinking about playing Majora's Mask Rando. I've also been thinking about, since we did that, we've done that kind of recently. I thought about busting out Tears of the Kingdom.
A test of your reflexes.
Yeah? Hi, Grim.
Ikum.
Ekum bokum. Ekum bokum. That is true. I don't know, though, what you guys would prefer for today. Majora's Mask or Tears of the Kingdom. So I might put it to a vote. But we will be resuming Tears of the Kingdom soon. Thank you for the book report. I've got to run for now. Okie dokie. Have a good day. We could pull it really quick while I go pee. Does that sound like a plan? It is 3 hours in. I have to end in
Oh no, he's hot!
3-ish hours. Oh. Okay. Saxy! Why are so many of you guys being bad? Stop. Stop. I don't know what I did. You did something. Also, there's an ad about to play, so let's go ahead and play the ad. I'll put on words on stream. I didn't make that poll. Majora's Mask. Monka.
Ouchie meouchie. I went
splurty wordy all over the place. And there go all the raiders. If they thought that this was going to be a normal place. I'm going to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to start words on stream before I go. That way we can words together.
My brother Luigi now to tell you a whole heap of the spaghetti pile of information. Hello, Mario.
Hello, Mario. All right. All right. I will be right back. Sorry. I got a crazy message. Hold on. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.